On this episode of WTF, we're comparing the new Ninja Creami Deluxe against the original. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
And I'm Hannah.
And on this episode, we're talking all about the Ninja Creami. We're going to compare the new deluxe model against the original. So remember, you have to subscribe to get our content every single week. So remember to subscribe because I keep forgetting to say that. And also stick around for the weekly giveaway. Now, last year, you guys really loved when we compared the Pacojet against the Ninja Creami. So when they came out with a new model last winter, we knew we had to do a follow-up episode all about whether you're getting a good value, should you upgrade, is it a better machine? So I think where we want to start, Hannah, is of course the price point. So the new Ninja Creami Deluxe is only about $55 more than the original. So given that it's not a huge cost difference, we're not expecting a huge change in capacity and power. So right off the bat, what do we notice about it? I think the first thing is you can kind of see this is the original, and that's the deluxe.
Yes.
The new one is bigger.
Yep.
Right? So we're getting a bigger cup size. Here we go, side by side. I think this new one is 3 cups.
Yep.
This one is 2. And so you can make a bigger batch, but they've also added the capacity to do a half batch, so you can do 1.5 cups. And I think there's kind of pros and cons to that, right? Because if you want to do a lot of this ice cream, the nice thing about it is that you spin it up and it's fresh and it's delicious, but you don't always want to store it. But if you do want to store it, you can definitely use our ice cream stabilizers in order to help you store that ice cream for longer. So that's really the first thing. And Hannah, I know you made some ice creams in here. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences using both models? Any differences, similarities that you notice?
Yeah, so the ice cream I'm using is just our French style ice cream that is linked over on our blog, and it is using our perfect ice cream, or is it perfect?
Yes,
sorbet?
Perfect ice cream.
Perfect ice cream. So it's just a basic vanilla ice cream, nothing special, no add-ins or anything. And so I went ahead, blended them both. I would say they both take 2 spins to really get that nice creamy texture. The first spin, it's not icy, but it's a little clumpy. It looks kind of dry in a way. So I'd absolutely recommend 2 spins, and the outcome is the ice cream is the exact same. But you do want to do the 2 spins, one on both. It just isn't giving a good product.
Yeah, and that's really one of the huge differences that we had noted originally about the Pacojet having a much more powerful motor. You can do a lot in 1 spin, but in here you really can't. So we're going to take a quick break, spin up both of these bases, and then we're going to come back. I actually have not tasted the ice cream from the new one yet, so we're going to give that a quick taste test just to confirm that, you know, it is pretty similar texture-wise. All right, so we're back, and we just spun both of these ice creams side by side, so you can kind of see. We're going to taste them both. Now, one thing that I did just notice when they were spinning them side by side is that the new Creami Deluxe, it felt a lot more stable. So this one right here, the original, it was shaking the table. It was basically like the whole time. This one, I felt like louder, but also more steady. And I don't know whether that's just because it has a larger base, but one observation. The ice cream is still delicious. And let's see this one. Sorry, I double dipped. My apologies. Yeah. Pretty much no real difference between the ice creams themselves. Both delicious. Now, Hannah, I know that you have been using this machine a lot in the last few weeks, doing a lot of testing, and we had a little incident. If you want to tell the people what happened.
Yes, so we had a little mishap happen while spinning for a frozen drink. The blade actually fell out into the machine. No one was harmed, but the bowl got stuck inside of the machine, and it took about 3 people and some brute strength to get the bowl out of the machine. We are not exactly sure why the blade fell off. It might have just been that it wasn't fully secure, probably. But just so you know, that is something that that happened to us while using the machine, and it works again. Nothing broke or anything, surprisingly, because we were really using some muscle on this machine. But just if you do buy this, really make sure your blade is secure, latched in, and that it's not going to fall off while spinning, because the blades really do go fast. So.
Yeah, and I will say one of the nice things is that when we originally couldn't get this canister off, we had reached out to Ninja, and while they weren't able to help us troubleshoot it, they did offer for us to send it back in and get a new one as a replacement. So the customer service was good. It was definitely there. Luckily, we didn't have to do that because it was like 4 days before shooting. Yeah. But it is there if you need it. Now, I think the second big thing, aside from just a bigger cup, is that the new Ninja Creami Deluxe has additional features for making frozen drinks, and that's what a lot of Hannah's testing was around. We're like, how are these frozen drinks? Do they taste good? Is it worth like the extra $55 in order to get them? So she's going to demo a recipe that we got. I think it's from their book, right?
Yeah, it comes with a recipe book. I think there's over 100 recipes in there. It goes through ice creams and everything, but I was really focused on their frozen drink section.
Yeah, I don't know about their ice creams. Cream cheese in the ice cream? I don't know about that.
Yeah, stick with ours.
Yeah, so she's going to go through that. But first, I wanted to talk about this week's giveaway while I remember it. So this week's giveaway is going to be a frozen treat combo pack from our store, which features 50 grams of perfect ice cream, perfect gelato, and perfect sorbet. So these are additives that you add into your base. And what it allows you to do is, if you're not going to eat these 3 cups of ice cream in one sitting, it's going to let you keep them better for longer. It's going to help with the texture. It's going to help with the freezing over and all that stuff. So in order to enter to win, just leave in the comments below, a drink that you want to make with this new machine. All right, Hannah, I'm going to pass it over to you. I know that you've done a few tests. Do you want to talk about kind of the different features, the different frozen drinks, and which ones you found were really good?
Yeah, so it has a list, as you can see. We go from the Creamicino, which is their version of a Frappuccino, is the most liquid of the frozen drinks, and from there it goes up. So we have our frozen drinks and slushies. So for today, we're going to be doing a demo on a Dark and Stormy that has been frozen.
Cool.
So if you don't know what a Dark and Stormy is, it is ginger beer and rum and lime juice. It's absolutely delicious. And when it gets a little bit warmer here in Maine, that'll be a perfect time to have this drink. So, well, actually, let me show this. So they have these lines for you to know where to pour. And we are going to go ahead and do equal parts of ginger beer and rum.
What's in the base here?
Yeah, so it is just water, agave, lime juice, ginger, and that is it. And so we are going to be adding in our ginger beer as well as our rum, and you're going to want to do this in equal parts. Of course, if you want a stronger drink, you can add more rum than ginger beer.
This is also a lot for one drink, right? Like,
yes,
that's like multiple drinks.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 drinks out of one. So if you're a fan of frozen margaritas, something like that, they have a great recipe for that in the book as well. So we're going to go ahead, put the lid on, just like normal. On full frozen drink. And all right. Okay. So now that this has been spun, and just a note that you only need to spin this once, as opposed to ice cream, which you would want to re-spin. And this is going to give us a great texture for a frozen drink. It's pretty thick, so
it has kind of like a slushy texture, it looks like. Ooh. So I will say about this, like, because we were pretty much just standing here the whole time, just waiting for it to churn, that One of the nice things about the new Ninja Creami Deluxe is that it actually shows you the time on the machine itself. So you can kind of see like, oh, this particular drink, it took 5 minutes to make. And that's something to think about. Like, yes, you can do a lot of these things, but if you want to like make drinks for just yourself and one other person, maybe 2 other people, this will be great. If you're trying to like do a lot of them, that's going to be really hard. This is not really intended to be a mass production type of machine. Definitely like, you know, do it a little bit at a time. So we haven't stress tested this machine yet. So I know this one on the original, when we got to around 3 batches of ice cream back to back, it was struggling. So we haven't pushed this machine to the same extent, but I would expect, because the motor is not really that much more powerful, that you are not going to be able to do like, you know, 10 of these back to back and just pump them out at a party. It would just be too much for this to handle.
Yes, because after 2 spins, this is already pretty warm.
Yeah.
So it's definitely working.
All right. So, I mean, it is delicious. If it was summer and not winter here right now, I'd be really enjoying this like on the deck, you know, hanging out with some friends. Yeah, it really is quite delicious. So I think, you know, overall, if you're thinking about like getting one, I would say if you already have the original, my opinion is it's not worth upgrading unless you really love making frozen drinks of different kinds. But if you are in the market for a machine, I think this is definitely good value for its money, much like its predecessor. And I think the next thing that I would like to do with this machine, now that we have 2, is at some point we're going to just stress test them to make different things. Kind of in the PacoJet, you can make soups, you can make like mousses. These are not meant for it, but I kind of want to like push it and see whether we can do it. So we might do that. If you want to see us try to make different stuff in the Ninja Creami Deluxe, let us know. Leave that in the comments below. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Remember to enter to win the frozen treat combo pack. And until next week, from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie.
And I'm Hannah.